My name is Tatiana, and I'm gonna be presenting today my poster. I spent 160 hours of my clinical time working on the floor with Shira, learning from Shira. So I want to thank her so much, and I would like to give her a little something. And for you guys, have some pizza. Thank you so much for making this place a very good place to learn. Let me present my project. So my topic is increasing satisfaction in medical surgical patients. Switching from shared to private rooms may increase patient satisfaction rates. How I came up with the project? So I went to the Jane and I asked her, Jane, the nursing manager, and I asked her if she's working on something and if I could help her finding any information on something that she's working on. And she said that because hospital is going from shared patient rooms to single patient rooms, she would like to know more information about nursing satisfaction of single patient rooms versus shared patient rooms, and patient satisfaction on patient room single rooms versus shared patient rooms. Introduction. So that's what I came up with. Introduction. A lot of healthcare professionals, planners, and administrators point out the advantages of private single rooms, including reduction of hospital-acquired infections, reduction of patient stress levels, facilitation of nurses and healthcare efficiency, patient privacy, opportunity to rest, and discussing the needs with family members and friends. One of the challenges for today's hospital designers and administrators is to design patient rooms that will promote therapeutic goals, foster positive patient outcomes, and function as intensive care unit. Because a lot of patients coming to the hospital today of higher acuity. Single patient rooms have become the industry standard in the construction of new acute healthcare facilities in the United States. So, what I needed from Jane is that I needed a data that actually shows that patients on 4 South, where this is the unit where patients have single rooms, are more satisfied with the care than patients on 4 North. And this is the data. Basically, how they got the data, they were calling patients who were discharged from both units. They were calling home and they were asking the patients to rate how their stay in the hospital was. And the patients were more satisfied with communication with the doctors, nurses' responsiveness, quietness, and discharge information on 4 South versus 4 North. So the aim of my research was to determine whether private rooms have played a key factor in patient satisfaction. So I got some literature review. I have three literature reviews here. So the first one is a pilot study. And pilot study was performed to explore nursing perception on single patient room, on advantages and disadvantages of single patient rooms versus the shared patient rooms. The findings, the most noticeable categories of positive assessment for single patient rooms were flexibility in accommodating family, suitability for patient's examination, patient's comfort level, patient's recovery rate, probability of medication errors, and probability of dietary mix-ups. As you can see that the percentages in the single patient rooms were very high as opposed to the shared patient rooms. The nurses were also asked to rate and environmental characteristics of single occupancy room versus the double occupancy room based on their experience at the present work setting. The findings show that many environmental characteristics of single patient rooms, such as the layout of the room, privacy, and space for family members, were very helpful. So the study suggests, the study generally supports a positive aspect of single patient rooms from a patient care perspective. In other studies, the systematic review. In the systematic review, a number of nurses were asked how do they allocate patients to one room over the other. None of the departments had the guidance of how they're doing that, but some of the nurses mentioned the infection control guidance. They were also asked if they ask patients on the preference of single patient room over or shared patient room, but they said they never did. They don't do it because they were hindered by the shortages of single patient rooms. The patients were also asked on the preference of single patient room versus the shared patient room, and surprisingly, 47% of patients, their preference were to stay in the shared area, and 49% of them would like to stay in a single room, and 4% had no preference. The study suggests that more single rooms should allow greater choice, but some shared areas should also be maintained. My last review was quasi-experimental and descriptive evidence of benefits, and the review provided new and more robust evidence to support single patient rooms for the patients. Reductions in both airborne-related and nosocomial infections. The two factors that could play a role here is the healthcare provider's likeliness to wash hands between the rooms rather than between the beds, and single patient rooms were easier to clean and decontaminate than shared patient room. Reduction of patient transfer within the hospital. The transfers can potentially lead patients harm due to reduced monitoring, mistreatments, and psychological stress. Then a greater potential for privacy, rest, and family support. For example, if the patient is admitted to a room where there is another patient, the patient may not share the sensitive information, such as sexual preferences or illicit drug use with doctor or the nurse. And another important factor that can improve patient satisfaction is that patients do not have to listen to alarms coming out of the hallways, communication arising from another patient, which can improve sleep quality, mood, and pain control. So this study suggests that single patient rooms can significantly improve sleep, significantly improve recovery process for the patients. My recommendation and conclusion: looking back at the aim of this research, it can be concluded that single patient rooms could definitely have played a key role in patient satisfaction. The examined literature clearly supports that single patient rooms. The examined literature clearly supports the patient. The examined literature clearly supports that single patient room clearly supports single patient rooms over the shared patient rooms. It was also evident that nursing favored single patient rooms because they can provide individualized patient care. A small number of double patient rooms should still be available for those patients who prefer to stay in a room with another patient. And as a nurses, we should always be able to provide opportunities for the patient to decide on their own preference.